part 2, and she's going to introduce herself.
Queen Mother Imakhu Mutshekamet Hetep Ma'ati, commonly known as Imakhu, which means Reverend or Queen of the River or Water Priestess of Light, Water Spirit of Light. Also, I'm addressed as Queen Mother Imakhu or Queen Mother. What's nice is that a lot of the young bloods, they call me Mom, you know.
Okay.
I'll work with that. It's better than being called the B word, you know.
Thank you. Well, the last show we ended talking about the chakras, and you got up to the third eye. So we want to continue there because I know the audience couldn't wait to see you again. So let's pick up on the third eye.
Hopefully. Did y'all come back? The brow arit, or the first eye, third eye, first eye, is so powerful because, excuse me, it is there that you meet yourself. Once you start dealing with that level, and this is assuming that you've gone through various cleansings, and usually, by my thinking, the initiation process should be working with each chakra and bringing the energy up. All right, so that you're talking about maybe a month to 7 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that for each one, if you're doing a serious chakra study. Mm-hmm. But once you get to the brow, it's like entering into a cave with every once in a while having a glimmer of light, and then the only thing you can see is yourself in a mirror that's right there. You are to face yourself. Why? Because with that arit, or chakra, that's where you're dealing with psychic receptivity. You're dealing with the use of your psychic abilities. Mm-hmm. And opening up even further to them. Now, the question is, what are you going to do? All right? Right. And to whom much is given, much is expected, much is required. All right? So if you're bestowed with a great deal of power, for lack of a better term, what are you going to do? For some, if you're not ready, it'll appear like putting a gun in a child's hands. Mm. But ideally, though, if you've come all this way and you've been prepared, then it shouldn't be that.
That's right.
But so in order to make sure that you are properly employing everything that you've learned and the use of those energies, it requires a certain level of stillness. Mm-hmm. Sitting and really contemplating what it is that you are, what you believe. Mm-hmm. In that also you find a lot of things are stripped away. Because it's really hard to know what you believe when you're dealing with all kinds of comfort and things are just coming to you like that. Mm-hmm. At that level, if you're really serious in terms of being a spiritual student, you find not only are you facing yourself in various situations that make you over and over again see not only your strengths but your deficits that you need to work on. You also find things being taken away from you. That's you know, all of a sudden, I always say that level is like, all of a sudden you've been in this big mansion and now you're stripped down to being in this one little room, sitting on a crate. Mm-hmm. Hopefully not sucking your thumb trying to figure out how you got there. But the thing is, all the trappings are gone.
That's right.
And you have nothing else to do but figure out how you got here, why you're here, mm-hmm. and what you're going to do based on what you believe, okay? Your faith is really put to the test at this level. So you can either face yourself and all that goes along with it, the good, bad, and the ugly, or you can fall into delusion. And that's what's really powerful. Let me tell you, I shared with you how one time I was teaching a class and we were going along wonderfully, you know, from the root, et cetera, et cetera. I'm on the phone counseling each of these people every week, and we're talking about how each of the chakras is revealing itself in terms of how it's relating to they're relating to their lives, et cetera, et cetera. We get to the brow, and folks were facing all kinds of crap, you know. And instead of stepping up to the plate, a lot of folks just completely turned the other way. Most of them were so much in denial that they said, well, when are you going to take us to the brow? Because you left us down at the throat. Excuse me, the last month we've been working on this. Remember the conversations that we had about this, that, and the other, you know? And I had never seen a whole class on a mass scale just go into denial. And so I said, well, here's where we separate the the grown-ups from the children. So those who are meant to stay will stay. Two people moved on. They dealt with their stuff and moved on to get the rewards of the crown. All the rest, boy, I mean, it was pretty ugly. It was really, but it was also getting draining on me because instead of looking at themselves and dealing with themselves, they were trying to pull my energy and in order to try to avoid what they had to deal with. You know. So I started praying. I was like, look. I can't take any more of this. Y'all got to pull them away. If they're meant to just go, then please just hurry up and take them so this way I can still be here on the planet, you know. But it's very serious energy. So I find it very interesting when dealing with people who refer to their psychic ability as their psychic power. Because usually those are people who feel very powerless, who are actually, this is where it's related to the awakening chakra, that, you know, the whole Heru story and awakening. They're afraid of directly confronting people, and so they plot for how they're going to get back at them from a psychic standpoint, you know, psychic juju wars start and all this other crazy stuff. And so there's something that's in the Italian tradition that's called malocchio, which is the evil eye. You know, that's the negative aspect of that also. So, and with that, that's where somebody can be looking at you and going, you know, oh, what a beautiful baby. But at the same time, they're thinking, I hope that baby dies. And then all of a sudden, something tragic happens to the baby. But the person is smiling in your face. They're sending out that negative energy. And it manifests. So that's why it is, again, what is it you're going to do with this energy at this level? You have to deal with it from a pure standpoint. Your intent has to be pure. Okay, so now once you have done that, and by the way, like I mentioned in the last show, that level deals with your destiny, all right? If you are not on the path that you're supposed to be on, and if you're a serious spiritual aspirant, then you will find yourself put squarely on the path or stopped, all right? So that you have no choice but to stop and look and realize, where am I supposed to be, all right? If you're on your path, and you're ready to go on to the rewards of all the crap you just went through with that initiation level of dealing with the brow, then you go on to the crown. And I didn't mention that the indigo is the color for the brow. The crown is, some say violet, some say white. Both are appropriate.
Some say gold.
That's true. Some say gold. You are communing with the ancestors and with the Creator in a way that you never even thought you could before. It becomes so personal. You deal with astral teachers at that level, but also beginning at the brow. Okay, that's why you're being prepared here at the brow, because you're getting etheric level teachings. You are dealing with, as I'd mentioned in the last show, what your legacy will be. All right, I've come all this way, I've amassed all this knowledge. Now what? What am I supposed to be leaving behind for those who are coming up? Because it's not about being the wise guru who sits on the hill. Now, personally speaking, I mean, there are many who go on to that. But I want to know you've been down the valley first.
Right.
If you have not been down in the valley, struggling with the rest of us who are trying to pay our bills, deal with this man who won't act right, you know, my children are acting a fool, my job is making me crazy. If you're not, if you haven't dealt with any of that and you're just up there, you know, I don't want to talk to you because you don't have anything to tell me. You know, to me, it's the journey.
The journey
that gets you there. And so if I've climbed up all that way, you better have something to tell me about what your life has been like. So that's the whole thing about leaving your legacy behind too. So you can tell those coming up, okay, I've been there. I feel you. Let me tell you what happened to me. Let me tell you what you shouldn't do. Let me tell you what you should do. Okay. So now, the negative aspect of that is people who are really spacey. You know, detachment is a big part of that energy. And there's positive detachment where you start to realize, this doesn't matter anymore. This doesn't matter, okay? Things that really used to bother you, you realize are so insignificant.
Thank you.
What does it mean in the big picture? But then there is the kind of detachment where you're just disconnected from reality. You know.
I know.
You know, you've seen those people where they're not home and never seem to have been home. You know, I mean, I know when you get to a certain level. I mean, because there were times where people would be talking to me and it'd be like, Imakhu, you know, because you're getting other stuff, you know.